So I'm going to go over the supplies that we're going to be using for Art7 this trimester. These are generally what we'll be using most. We may get to some of them and we may not. So I'm just going to briefly go over and show examples of how we use them. So let's start with the Sharpies. Everybody knows a Sharpie. That we're going to be using fine point, and then we'll be using extra fine point. This is not a Sharpie. I don't have my extra fine point Sharpie here. We'll be using those for detail work, line making. These are charcoal pencils. We have charcoal sticks and charcoal pencils. So we have hard. This is a hard charcoal and a soft charcoal. So hard is, it's pretty clear, self-explanatory. It's going to be a little bit hard, a harder charcoal, pressed, more compressed. This one's going to be softer and probably darker. I think you can kind of see that. It makes maybe thicker lines too. Both of these you can blend. We'll be using blending stumps, which you can use your finger to blend, which is totally fine. And you can see the softer charcoal blends much easier than the hard charcoal does. Your fingers are going to get very messy. The pencils that we'll be using is a variety from HB all the way to 6B. Sorry, yeah, HB to 6B. So this is just your regular HB2 pencil everybody uses in class. It can make light lines. It's a little bit, HB, just think of it, if it has an H in it, it's a harder graphite. And then as you move into the B's, they're going to be softer and possibly bolder. So maybe if you want to think of the B's as a little bit bolder, you can. So that's the B. This one is the B. Let's do that. That's the B's right there. This one is going to be a 3B. Okay. And let's see, where's my 4B? This was my 4B. I don't have a 6B with me right now. So 4B. So the difference in these two is that it will show differently in terms of blending. So my blending stumps are a little bit dirty, but I'll use a cleaner side. And I'll show you, I'm going to blend a B. So there's the B blended out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to switch to a clean side and I'm going to go to the 3B. Show how that blends out a little bit. Then I'm going to do another clean side and do the 4B. So when you're actually using these, you're going to really be able to see a difference in how they blend. And we'll do the 2HB here, which is a little harder graphite. You can see that it really doesn't blend a whole lot. So when we're wanting to get values and shadows and things, we'll probably be going more. And 6B and up to 9B go really, really dark. The next tools that we want to be aware of, let's talk about the charcoal sticks. I don't know if we'll be using these a whole lot, but these are great for big swatches of lines. And these, again, will blend out. And these give you really black, which is really fun. So, and we will offer wipies to help clean your fingers, but it could get a little messy. What's next? We need erasers. So we have a regular erasers that will easily erase graphite. Then you have a kneaded eraser, which is something that you can change into different shapes if you want to get a really fine point to erase fine bits of things. You don't want to do too much erasing, but you want to remove some. This is the one that we will use for charcoal. So, and then you can knead it and it kind of cleans itself, which is a really cool thing. Let's see, the next thing, this is an interesting tool. So this is graphite, but it's water soluble, meaning it goes down. Let's use a 6B. It goes down just like a regular graphite pencil. But when you activate it with water, just dip that in some water, it blends, which is very fun. So we might be using some of those. And these are really fun to hold and use to make big gestural movements, which is really fun, which is something we'll be practicing too. The other thing I want to talk about is how to hold, while we're drawing, how to hold your tools. So typically when you're writing, you're just going to be holding it, you know, like you write. You know, I'm just going to write my name, right? And that's how we hold a pencil to write. But when we're drawing, something to think about is how we're holding our pencil to get the best use of control, but also using our whole arm instead of just our hand and fingers. So if we hold our pencils and our blenders overhand like this, you can have a little bit more, it's not necessarily control, but it's definitely, you're using more of your whole arm than you are using your fingers to move the pencil. So when you want to draw something, it's much easier to hold your pencil like this to sketch out something. And when we talk about sketch, it's not, we're not laying lines down like this and making them hard lines. We are sketching lightly to create an image and an impression of something before we lay hard lines down. So holding your pencil like this really makes a difference. The other thing is these blenders can get ruined very quickly if we hold them like a pencil and try to blend like a pencil. We want to hold them overhand the same way, and we want to lay them down and use the side of them like this to blend. You get a much better effect using them to blend like this rather than like this, and you get that really awful scratchy sound too, and you end up ruining the tip. So that's something that we'll be practicing in class as well, is how to use those properly. All right, so I think we are finished with generally the supplies that we'll be using, and I hope that we'll have a great time exploring together and trying all of this. This is considered dry media. All right, keep drawing.